Dr. Dean, let me start with you. How is the president doing now, leading this fight for health care reform?
I think the Democrats, I think he did two things that he had to do. He showed he was a strong leader. And presidents, regardless of the issue, the American people want to see a strong leader in the presidency. That's the most important thing. The second thing he did is he unified the Democrats. And he's going to have those. We're not, at the most, we're going to get 3 Republican senators and probably no Republicans in the House to vote for this. So the Democrats
Can you
have to be
say he's
together.
united Democrats yet? You got about 10 to 12 moderate, more conservative Democrats who are saying, we're not there yet.
Well, I don't think so. I mean, by my vote count, we got 51 votes in the Senate to pass health care reform with a public option. So,
Yeah.
you know.
That'd be ramming it through. That would be a reconciliation strategy. And
in this audience, I think we can talk about ramming stuff through. Newt's been the speaker. Republicans and Democrats both ram things through. At the end of the day, the American people want a bill. And they're not going to care if it's reconciliation or if it's ramming it through. What they want is a decent bill that makes sense to them.
Right, let me get an opening thought from you, Speaker Gingrich. You said this week the president had to make a decision. Show up as president or as a partisan. Who showed up?
Well, I think he was about 80% president, about 20% partisan. I think the partisan parts didn't help him. I think what he did on Monday in giving a campaign speech didn't help him. But the big difference, I'm going to go back to what Senator Cornyn said. I can go through the president's speech and find a lot of things that I like. Then I go to the House Democratic bill, and I don't find a single one of those things reflected in the legislation. Now, they literally had voted down efforts to make sure that health insurance only went to people who are legally in the United States. So they would have to go back and have very significant changes, which I think would split the Democratic caucus. And I think part of the reason you saw some real anger about the speech is he kept describing things that had been explicitly not put in the bill on the House side, and the House bill has no resemblance to the president's speech. Whether or not he can get Speaker Pelosi to agree to rewrite that bill, I think is very doubtful. So I'm not convinced yet as president that he's capable of leading his own party.
I'm going to disagree with that if I can for just a second. First of all, it says in the bill that undocumented aliens can't get health insurance reform. What Newt's talking about is something that said, and they have to show proof or something of citizenship. We're talking about small details here. The other thing is I'm going to strongly disagree with Senator Cornyn. This bill is remarkably helpful to small business. Small businesses, less than 25 employees in the Senate bill, don't have to pay anything for health insurance ever again. Less than $500,000 in the House bill, and this is the Blue Dogs put this in. Payroll, don't have to pay health insurance ever again. That's a huge boost for the people who create 80% of all the new jobs in America.
Right,
and that's never talked about, and it ought to be talked about. This bill is a big boost for small businesses.
Right,